Miriam threw herself back into the waves and swam to her target. In a matter of seconds, she pulled up next to the swimmer and quickly flipped her limp body so that she faced up out of the water. Scrutinizing the girl for any injuries, Miriam winced when she saw deep purple bruises around the girl's midsection. With no pier or boat in sight, Miriam worked through the possibilities of what could have caused this girl to fall out of the sky. And maybe more importantly, what could have possibly done this to her stomach? Miriam sucked air in, working to calm herself before the long trek back. Tanner would have seen this from the shore. He would come. Miriam knew he would. Something ran into her leg, hard enough to knock her sideways. A fish, maybe? She kicked at it, forcing it to scuttle away. A splash to her left caused her to turn her head. Something floated in the water. Not floated, writhed. Its purple, slimy skin moved along the surface, skimming towards her. A wave caused it to twist, revealing a lighter pink underside and the outline of huge suction cups. An octopus? A squid? It seemed far too large for either. A slideshow of legendary creatures flipped through her head, stories from the age of pirates and Greek sailors. She needed a second set of eyes, but they were far from shore. Too far for anyone else to possibly see this. Miriam shook her head to try to make sense of it, but as the ominous tentacle moved closer, she hooked the girl under one of her arms. Kicking as hard as she could, Miriam moved towards the shoreline, desperate to put distance between them and the monster below. Sploosh! Something deep and loud. She twisted her head but kept kicking. She didn't see it anymore. Her lungs burned, her legs ached. Too much time studying, not enough time training. She pushed away the pain and swam, like her life and the life of this girl depended on it. The shore seemed forever away, but another form swam towards her, causing her to slow to meet them. Tanner? Or a lifeguard, maybe? Tanner's head popped up a few feet away. Mir, are you okay? Miriam nodded and transferred the unconscious swimmer to Tanner's strong arms. Something was out there. Something... She shook her head. Go! Let's just go! Together they swam until they could stand. Tanner lifted the girl in his arms, trudged through the remaining water, and laid her down on the sandy beach. Miriam collapsed next to the girl and rested an ear against her chest, listening carefully. The girl's chest rose and fell. Faintly. She coughed and convulsed, her eyelids flitting wildly. Miriam registered cheers behind them, but they seemed distant. The fact that this girl remained unconscious was bad. Very bad. Miriam worried that there might be internal bleeding. Didn't this damn beach have any lifeguards? Mesmerized by the injuries, Miriam grazed the tips of her fingers along the bruises around the girl's midsection. It looked painful, possibly life-threatening. That tentacle. It must have grabbed her. And threw her? That didn't seem possible. She pushed away her fascination and stood up. Someone get help, she pleaded. No one budged. Emma! Another teenage girl screamed from the throng, pushing through and throwing herself on the sand. She turned her tearful eyes to Miriam. Is she okay? Is she going to be okay? I'm not sure, Miriam stammered. Hopefully. A rumble echoed across the beach, and the crowd parted for a red four-wheeler with a stretcher on the back. Finally. Miriam backed away, tapping Tanner on the shoulder to encourage him to do the same. The lifeguards took over, rushing to secure Emma to the stretcher before zooming her down the beach along with her friend. They paid no attention to Miriam and Tanner. Miriam collapsed to the sand, dropping her head between her legs to catch her breath. Tanner sat beside her, his hand on her back. Nice job, Mir. She didn't want adulation. Not for this. Maybe she had saved a life today, but if she could believe her own eyes, something dangerous lurked beneath the waves. Her body begged her to relax, to let the adrenaline fade away. But her mind used it to fuel a fire that burned inside of her. Her father had trained her to hunt monsters. Maybe she'd just found one.